things to prompt my interaction with all of you was the subject matter of ownership of the media, especially television media, and to some extent lack of transparency in the ownership of the news media. Because I think, first and foremost, we are the only country which has got 368 news television stations in all 8 languages. And if we take entire Asia, we will be close to about 150 TV stations, news TV stations. And I think applications which are pending are also running in about 100 of them, are still waiting for the licensing. I have been from beginning of this same view, and I remember I had mentioned once during the UPA 1 regime to Mr. Priyaranjan Das Munshi, as well as the then Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh, that you should not go on issuing licenses like this. Issuing license for a news media should be scrutinized the way Reserve Bank of India scrutinizes issuing any license in financial services. They scrutinize, and they have a term for this called fit and proper criteria, by which they go to the ultimate source of funding, as well as the cleanliness of the people involved, which also there is a list of relatives and relationships which according to RBI, they matter and influence the main person. So they will go to those also and check them out as well before they issue any license. Then naturally their worry is that somebody may not take deposit of people in financial terms and run away with the money or misuse the money. So to protect people money, these are the stringent things which they have, they're following. But people do, these gentlemen whom I'm referring to, and even after that UPA 2 and then now the new government, probably they don't feel that news medium can pollute the mind of a illiterate villager who is sitting at home and watching news channels. We can, generally so far, this is the belief, and I came across a couple of months back, I took all my editors and myself, instead of commissioning a research agency to give us what is liked by people for news media or what is not liked by people, we said, no, let us go ourselves and do the fact finding. What are the insights which gives? So I'm taking you back 2 months because that is where the whole thing triggered again, which probably was dormant in my mind, which was alive in 2001, 2, 3, 4, 6, but after that it was lying dormant, because if nobody is listening to your point of view, it is better that you listen to their point of view and keep quiet. So people said to us clearly in our face, and they said, "Aap sab log bike hue ho." And these strong words I have heard from a low-income group person sitting in Meerut. But 3-4 minutes discussion, same person also says that you are the only hope I have. So both contrast, but both are facts in that sense. So, and then of course they told what they don't like, what they want us to do in future, etc., etc. So, and I know a couple of channels, I will not name them today, One is owned by a chartered accountant, practicing chartered accountant. Something is managed by an ex-services person from UP, and his wife is managing a news channel. So these kind of things are going on. And so I tweeted one day, I said, I will not be surprised if some TV stations, final money is coming from Dawood Ibrahim in this country. Yeah. Because our system has not even gone one layer beyond what the person has submitted. That I'm starting the channel, minimum requirement for funding is 5 crores for starting a TV channel. एक बार वो दे दिया, उसके बाद then they do security clearance of those persons only. But where is the funding coming from? You should know that. And that is, I felt that is eroding our credibility as a whole, as a media. If there are really ownerships are opaque. And we have taken up this, of course, some friends in media owners, publishers had questions. They called me when I tweeted 10 days back, why I'm doing this, what is the reason behind it, etc., etc. Some people said, are you angry with Sun TV in any manner? Because it was happening that time, because their security clearance issue is going on. So I said, no, that is not there, but I think it is for you also to waken up. If you want to really maintain your credibility, our own credibility. But then when this issue started, then many of friends, journalists, also said, you haven't met for long, we have a lot of questions other than this issue. So that's why I said, okay, let us have this interaction.
What triggered this dialogue, conversation?
The comments about our viewers triggered this also.
So what triggered the fact that you took your editors out?
Because all the time, you see, all the time, me as a publisher, or my editors as running the news channels, they believe that they are doing well, they are doing excellently well. The question, of course, started from then I said, Z News, why you are not number 1? Why are you number 3? If you are doing everything right, then why you are there? That triggered to this. And then I said, no, let us go. We had hired some consultants. We're doing that we need to, sometimes in life, whatever we know, all of us, including all of you present here, we believe, whatever we know about. And about them only we form our right or wrong opinions. But what about those things which we don't know at all, which we are not exposed to it at all? So I came across an organization out of Bangalore who pride themselves in the concept of innovation and concept of saying that we want to shift orbit of the people. And whatever we know is our orbit. Whatever is unknown orbit. So if we shift our orbit from the present what we know, then probably we will do innovation much more. So that is what triggered it.
Don't you think this funding is always like this? It's not transparent at any point of time. It was always kept under this for years.
The whole medium is new. देखिए newspaper जो है, I do run a newspaper. I know how expensive to run a newspaper is. More you print, more you bleed. Newspapers have got different. I don't see. I've not come across at least any newspaper which is owned by somebody else and shown as if owned by somebody else.
Do you think that the transparency in funding will actually restore the credibility of television channels?
At least you will not have the history sheeters owning the TV stations in any manner.
How is it globally? Is it owned by,
Globally, I don't see any country, I have not come across. Firstly, because to run a news network is not an inexpensive job there. Probably we are the only country today a TV station you can run in about 10 to 15 crore a year. Otherwise, to run a news channel, credible news channel, you will definitely spend upward of 60 to 80 crore a year. Maybe 100 crore.
You are saying that the government needs to put down guidelines which will actually...
Stringent, clear guidelines, which is very clear and transparent, which will unveil the veil of corporate veil, as you call it, and go to the real source of the funding, and which is not difficult.
What has been the response so far?
अब ये वीक में किया हम लोगों ने जो भी कुछ 2-3 प्रोग्राम्स किए हैं. There is a lot of interest has generated. We said on our news channels as well as on DNA, we have put out that the system need to be corrected. I mean, another thing you look at, no, that Sun TV case, I'm not sitting on judgment or anything, and I don't really know what it is. But you and I, we clearly see that Home Ministry is saying no, INB Ministry is saying yes. So this at least tell me something that there is some confusion of some kind, no? What is the security guideline? What do you want? Do you want it before issuing license? Do you want it later? When can you open? That is also subject to misuse in a way. That मैं channel चला रहा हूँ, बीच में आके आपने उठ के बोल दिया कि you are not security cleared. I have doubt on you.
So what do you do?
So what do you do? Or two ministries of the same government is talking different language. Why can't we have transparency, right?
But would you not be opening up Pandora's box when you want a kind of a...
But you have to.
Everything has to fall in line.
But then the people be in power, they should not say that media is bad and media is wrong. They are not responsible. We hear those statements.
But are you convinced?
आप कुछ कर नहीं रहे हो, ट्रांसपेरेंसी ला नहीं रहे हो लॉ के हिसाब से, and then you say media, all media is wrong. This is our history of hundreds of years that somebody need to bell the cat.
But it must be a common industry problem, if they feel so strongly about it.
तो वहाँ पे IBA में बैठते हैं आप, which is a body for news TV stations. वहाँ पे सभी हैं. तो जिसका इंटरेस्ट सर्व नहीं होता तो वो बोलेगा नहीं ये तो गलत है. These are restrictive things. But nobody has debated so far. That's what is the question.
So you want to
I want the debate to trigger, then take the decision collectively. I'm not saying that, but I feel is only right.
But is the government's response so far been encouraging?
They have started rethinking on this, but they are still in the middle of their own problems. So maybe after they come out of those, they will think more.
But many of the politicians control this. Like even for that matter, AAP was considering a news channel.
And your political parties do own their own channels.
Whereas your act says that political parties, religious groups, they should not own. And why can't they be able to own? You ask them, they say, no, we don't own. But they have taken their worker, party worker or somebody who has put the money, they are running it. That's why it is important to go behind the corporate veil and see. आपने कानून तो बना दिया कि political parties or the religious groups will not own it.
It's not been implemented.
It's not been implemented. So why make that law? Then say it's open for everybody.
But doesn't it make more sense to kind of target those channels rather than have a kind of a blanket overall thing that, you know...
Check everybody, no? Why? Check everybody. Those who are clean, they will come out clean. You have not checked anybody.
But wouldn't this delay the licensing process even more for the new channels you're talking about?
It doesn't take much time. It takes, if you want to get into the information, takes 1 week to find out, go to the source of the funding. Licenses are pending for last 2 years. Actually, UPA 2 did not issue any license since September 2012 was, or maybe August 2012 was last issued. Till this new government has taken over, they didn't issue any new license for 2 years.
Has this government issued any new licenses?
They have issued, I think, 7 or 8 licenses so far. That's what in one of the debate the government spokesperson said. But are they all news channels? I don't know. I haven't taken inventory.
So your grudge is basically against people who own news channels, or is it across category, lifestyle?
Do everything. But if you can't do it everything in quickly, but at least new licenses you should do it and start checking into the previous ones or issued one already which are on air. Firstly, you will have to issue a correction in your legislation. Then you go into execution of that. I mean, Cabinet last passed a resolution on this issue they debated was January 2015, where they said that the security clearance of the shareholders is also important. More than 10% owners also need to have security clearance, which wasn't the case till that time. It was only directors and the company.
And you are open to such scrutiny yourself?
Of course, 100%.
So what is bothering you? Is it the quality of journalism?
No, nothing is bothering me.
So,
Nothing bothers me.
so, but since you are taking up this issue, so there could be some concern, right? Is it because of the quality of journalism?
Because I'm getting, I think I'm clean. I'm not claiming that because they have to check out me also.
Exactly the point. So
But the question is that I think because of many others, I'm also getting dragged into that as if I'm not credible. This is also the reason, and as a concern, as an Indian national, I'm concerned about it. It compromises your national security, it compromises your economic security, which should be concern of every Indian.
As a collective, is the news sector going to the ministry asking them to come up with a clear guideline on security?
They didn't do that. I have told them earlier, I have written to them, but they didn't take it up. So I said, okay, hum to karte hain.
But basically you are happy to bell the cat, right?
I've done that also.
No, so do you have the support of, like you were saying, do you have the support of other people helping you put the bell around the cat?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Every day, there more and more people are saying, we understand.
So
I
would
said,
you
then
like to
you should
name
also
some
come.
of your friends?
I'll
who-
name in few days. They will all come. Whosoever believe, I am sure they will come on a saying platform, sit with me and say the same thing.